Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sixth chapter, chapter 11, text 27. So I'll read this verse and the translation, then we'll go to the next one, because there's no purport in this one. Is it all right? Huh? Mamota musloka janeshu sukyam samsare chukche brahmata swa kanamabi tvam ayayat majadureshu ashakta chitasya na nata buyet. Translation. O my Lord, my Master, I am wandering throughout this material world as a result of my fruitive activities. Therefore, I simply seek friendship in the association of your pious and enlightened devotees. My attachment to my body, wife, children, home is continuing by the spell of your external energy. But I wish to be attached to them no longer. Let my mind, my consciousness, and everything I have be attached to you. Thus ended purport to Bhaktivedanta, 6th canto, chapter 11. So we go to the next one. Chapter 12. I'll just read the summary here. Vritrasura's glorious death. This chapter describes how Indra, the king of heaven, killed Vritrasura despite great reluctance. After Vritrasura finished speaking, he released his trident against King Indra with great anger. But Indra, using his thunderbolt, which was many times more powerful than the trident, broke the trident into pieces and cut off one of Vritrasura's arms. Nevertheless, Vritrasura used his remaining arm to strike Indra with an iron mace, making the thunderbolt fall from Indra's hand. Indra, being very ashamed of this, did not pick up the thunderbolt from the ground. But Vritrasura encouraged King Indra to pick it up and fight. Vritrasura then spoke to King Indra as follows, instructing him very well. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said, is the cause of victory and defeat. Not knowing that the Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes, fools and rascals try to take credit for victory or defeat themselves. But everything is actually under the control of the Lord. No one but him has any independence. The Purusha, the enjoyer, and Prakriti, they enjoyed, are under the control of the Lord, for it is by his supervision that everything works systematically. Not seeing the hand of the Supreme in every action, a fool considers himself the ruler and controller of everything. When one understands, however, that the real controller is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is freed from the relativities of the world, such as distress, happiness, fear, impurity. Thus Indra and Vritrasura not only fought, but also engaged in philosophical discourses. Then they began to fight again. This time, Indra was more powerful, and he severed Vritrasura's remaining arm. Vritrasura then assumed a gigantic form and swallowed King Indra. But Indra, being protected by the talisman known as Narayana Kavacha, was able to protect himself even within Vritrasura's body. Thus he emerged from Vritrasura's abdomen and severed the demon's head from his body with his powerful thunderbolt. Severing the demon's head took 1 complete year. to accomplish. So we go to the first text. Shri Vishya Uvacha Evam Dhyasho Nipadeham Aja Mrityum Varam Vijayan Manayan Manaha Shulam Pragriya Payapatat Surindram Yata Mahapurusha Kaitabo Sul. You know, Prabhupada, he always wanted us to chant the verses because it's purifying. And he said that when you chant these mantras, they're so powerful, they goes through the whole universe and keeps going. Right now, it's still going after we said it. Although because our senses, you know, we're covered. You know, we have the 4 defects of a conditioned soul, and we can perceive all this. But the transcendental personalities, they see all this. Even the high personalities, because we're speaking these transcendental sound vibrations, they also come in here. Well, you know, we can't see them, but they're here. So we always got to remember that we have to remember. Oh, listen, Prabhus, I said this so many times, but I have to tell you again. When you take notes with the books, that's transcendental. They're like this, they're like Bhagavad Gita, and you can't sit them on the floor. Even though they're your personal notes, your notes becomes Krishnized. Just like Prabhupada gave the example of the hot iron in the fire. It's not fire, it's not iron anymore. It's become fire because it's merged. So it's the same way with when you write the transcendental words, your notes are transcendental. You can't put it on the floor. Plus, some of you have pictures of deities on your books too. You know, so I know it's hard to forget, but try to remember that. You can't put it on the floor or put something under it, like when you use the book. If you had a Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita, you wouldn't put it on the floor, right? That's a question. That's a question. Would you put it on the floor? No. So the same way your books, they're transcendental. Okay, translation. Let's go with the translation. Translation. Shukadeva Goswami said, desiring to give up his body, Vritrasura considered death in a battle preferable to victory. O King Parikshit, he vigorously took up his trident and with great force attacked Lord Indra, the king of heaven, just as Kaitaba had forcibly attacked the Supreme Personality of Godhead when the universe was inundated. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although Vritrasura repeatedly encouraged Indra to kill him with the thunderbolt, King Indra was morose at having to kill such a great devotee and was hesitant to throw it. Vritrasura, disappointed that King Indra was reluctant, despite his encouragement, took the initiative very forcefully by throwing his trident at Indra. Vritrasura was not at all interested in victory. He was interested in being killed so that he could immediately return home back to Godhead, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Taktva deham punarjanma naiti. After giving up this body, a devotee immediately returns to Lord Krishna and never returns to accept another body. This was Vritrasura's interest. The first thing comes to mind why I read this particular pastime is that the Srimad-Bhagavatam is such a nice, I mean, there's really no words to describe the Vedic, the literatures of from the acharyas. We're so fortunate, you know. All the work that was put into giving us this information is just incredible. There's no spiritual group on the planet that gives so much information on how a human being, a living entity, can regain their love for the Lord. What the ISKCON Swami has given us, and even Bhaktivedanta, because he was so eloquent in his writing, during his time, the Vaishnava community gave him the title Seventh Goswami. So these literatures, these books, Prabhupada gives an example, they're the windows. They're windows to the spiritual world. And we're so fortunate to have a system that you don't have to do any research. There's no need to do any research because it's all there. But because we're conditioned, the four defects, what are the four defects? What are the four defects of the conditioned soul? First one's what? Imperfect senses. Being illusion. Okay, that's two. Third one? Cheating, propensity. And the last one? Imperfect senses, yeah. So in that position, how can we even, okay, you can't hear. It's hard to hear. In that condition, it's very difficult it's actually impossible to have perfect knowledge. That's why we have to have this system that the Acharya has given us. Call it top down. There's two systems in the world. Top down, bottom up. Top down, bottom up. And 99% of the world is bottom up. Do anybody know, describe what's meant by bottom up? Anybody? Got a clue? And if you have a clue, tell me. Bottom up. Right, that's right. Most of the people in the world, they go by what they think, what I think, my opinion, my interpretation, what I feel. Me, myself, and I. That's the mindset. Bottom up. And you can't get enough pure knowledge like from that because it's starting off from the four defects of a conditioned soul. Top down. From the acharyas, all the way from Krishna, all the way down to Prabhupada. That was the most impressive part when I was a youngster, when I read the Bhagavad Gita. Because I've never seen that. I never saw that it was a chain of personalities, one after another, and each one mimicked the same qualities of the previous. There was no drop. And it kept going, and kept going until it reached Krishna. And it was a complete unbroken chain. That's how fortunate we are. No, you don't have to speculate. You don't have to make up anything. So the next verse, I gotta put my glasses on. In my notes here. He said, Janma kama chame divyam evam yo viti tatvataha taktvad deham puna janma naitimam itisarjina. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities upon leaving this body takes his birth again, does not take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. That's what Prabhupada always impressed that the Bhagavad Gita is to be mastered because it's the foundation of spiritual knowledge. No other book in the world gives the complete science of the soul and gives us the complete information about this material world, the 5 tattvas that's in the Bhagavad Gita. What are the 5 tattvas? Anybody? The 5 tattvas. And what's the last one? That's right. The Supreme Lord Krishna. That's one topic. The material world, time, living entities, and karma. You can't learn this nowhere else. And that's why Prabhupada, he put the word as it is when he translated it. As it is, pure, unadulterated. Give exactly what Krishna said. And because of that potency, so many people all over the world took advantage of it. That's why it should be revered. Because if you have a strong spiritual foundation, then you're able to continuously grow. We have to want to continue to get to the next level of our spiritual development, not remain kanishtas. We want to continue growing. So the Lord's descent from his transcendental abode is, Prabhupada says, already explained in the 6th verse. He said one could understand the truth of the Lord's appearance of the personality is already liberated from material bondage. Just by knowing this, just by having that understanding of the Lord's appearance and activities, they're already liberated. The Supreme Personality of Godhead understands this fact with conviction, although it is incomprehensible to mundane scholars and empiric philosophers. He also explains that these scriptures, these books are for devotees. If you're not devotees, they're not going to understand it. Then we see why in the 10 offenses is to, one of the 10 offenses describe the pastimes of the Lord, the glories of the Lord to the non-devotees, because it's offense. They will take it as imagination. And these firm convictions for the Lord. See, our faith will always be tested in everything we do when it comes to the Lord's domain and activities and devotional service. And so our example that was given by Prabhupada in his life, the test of our faith. For example, this verse here. Mahatmanas tumam pata daivam prakritam astritam bunjate anya manaso yaktva bhuttadim avyayam. He said, those who, O son of Prith, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of my divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality, Godhead, original and inexhaustible. And then the Lord says the next verse that I've come up with, Tesham evan nu kapatam aham agyanam jam tamaha nashayami atma bhavosto jnana dipena bhavata. To show them special mercy, I dwelling in their hearts destroy with the shining light. When it came apart? Yasya Bhaktir Bhagavatir Kinchana Savai Gunais Tacha Samaste Sura. One who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna consistently manifests all the qualities of Krishna and the demigods. Yasya Deva Para Bhaktir Yata Deva Tata Gura Tasyaita Kaita Yata Pakashante Mahatmana. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. You see the fight between Vritrasura and Indra, but they were devotees. Both were devotees of the Lord. And that pastime, they're fighting each other, that just mind-blowing. But Indra had such respect for him, even though he had to kill him. And then Vritrasura, such a great devotee that he was eager to get killed so he can go back home. I mean, these personalities, that's why they call them liberated souls. Because the liberated souls, they don't cheat, they don't make mistakes, they're not illusion, and they don't cheat. And these pastimes are actually just for us to learn from. The Bhagavatam is activities about the Lord and the Lord's devotees. And the Bhagavad Gita is the instructions from the Lord. So these books, these information that's given to us by the acharyas are very, very fortunate for us. It's yasevam sam vinutita tena yas tasyaiva atma vinute tanam swam. The Lord is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses. That's a very important, it's only by him that he chooses. Which just means that it's not by our study, books and things, it's by our service and the love factor that we give to the Lord. And by that activity, when he is pleased with the service, then he reveals himself. That's the process. When the Lord is pleased, then he'll give you revelation. The Lord, because he's a Chaitya Guru, and he sees everything that's going on in our lives, and he's the catalyst for us to take advantage of his devotees' instructions. So he says, these Vedic injunctions, one must take shelter of a self-realized spiritual master, not materially educated politician or scholar. One must take shelter of a niskinchana. Niskinchana, a person engaged in devotional service and free from material contamination. That is the way of one can go back home, back to Godhead. And it's another verse, a very famous one, Padma Purana, very famous. If everybody knows this, we heard this before. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavid Guyam Indriyai Sevam Mukhi Jivada Swayam Eva Swaritada. No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality, and pastimes of Sri Krishna through his materially contaminated senses. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental activities or service to the Lord are the transcendental name, form, and qualities and pastimes of the Lord revealed to him. Revealed. What's that verse? Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sava Kavanaya Shravanadi Shudishtiche Karadeo Daya. The three qualities of the soul is what? Sat, Chit, Ananda, right? The three qualities. Sat is eternity. Chit, knowledge. So knowledge is already there, right? Every living entity is full of knowledge in their unconditioned state. Now think about that. It's already there. That verse, Nitya Shishya Krishna Prema Sarvakarinaya, that means that it's something within. It's not something you have to get from without. It's already there. So in our original state, we're already full of knowledge, eternal, and also blissful. I mean, think about that. That's our original position. Sat Chit Ananda. Eternal, full of knowledge. That's why they understood that the Vedas, they always existed. Some people can't fathom that. The Vedas, how Vedas always existed. Because it's coming from the Lord. And He always existed. So that manual, it's a manual for humans, for human beings. So you can go to any university on this planet. It's a fact. You can go to any university, go to the language school. No professor will disagree. Sanskrit, the oldest language. You might find a couple of professors that will fight you, like in Egypt. The Egyptians, they like to profess as the older language, the Sanskrit. But majority, 90% of the professors will not disagree with that. And the Vedas was written in Sanskrit. And the Vedas were written for humans. They did not say it was for any particular group or Indians or this race or this particular group of people. No. If you're a human being, then it was written for you. So it's a manual for humans. And so the Lord set up the whole system of Varnashram Dham so that their ultimate emancipation can take place, because the human form of life is the boon or it's the vehicle, that's the word I was looking for. It's the vehicle for the soul to transmigrate out of this samsara, birth, death, old age, and disease. So we always want to remember this in all our lives, activities, that how fortunate we are. And then again, how fortunate you are taking birth in Bharat Bhumi. See, I can't get away from that. Every day I see this every day, from the information of Prabhupada about individuals take birth here and how fortunate they are. And you here, Vaikuntha Hill, Hare Krishna Hill, how fortunate you are. This is my first time spending time at both places. And I got so much energy. Now I'm getting ready to go in the war and fight Maya. So I got a lot of energy, and when they go into battle, they have to get their tools. And I had a nice 10 days of getting my tools together. By the mercy of devotees here. It was a transcendental, blissful time for me. And each time I come here, it gets better and better. It's like Prabhupada says, when you eat a fruit, it doesn't matter which side you bite it, it's still sweet. So that's what I get when I come to Bangalore and associate with you. I just want to thank you. Bless me on this journey. Tomorrow I'll be leaving. So bless me that I'll continue doing Prabhupada's work, and that I pray that you also continue doing Prabhupada's work and stay within Prabhupada's fold, because I'm going to all the other, they call me, I'm called the autonomous Prabhu, because I go and both camps. But I'm so happy for you here because you can see it. I can see the difference. You know, it's unfortunate, but y'all very fortunate, and I'm so happy for you. Stay the course and keep praying to Prabhupada and Krishna for guidance. Prayers are very powerful. I'm telling you, Prabhupada, he's always took care of me. Like I said, you see the picture in the book, I was only 15. You know, when I left Washington, D.C., that was the first time I ever left on my own. Of course, at that time, that's just how it was set up. But of course, they don't allow that now. Nobody's going to allow no 15-year-old go on his own and join some movement. Nobody's going to allow that nowadays, you know. But that was just how it was set up. But because of the beginning, Krishna and Prabhupada, and the way it was taught to me, there was nothing else to do. Why do anything else but that? That's what my understanding. I mean, I had more conviction then than I have now. And I'm trying to recapture that beginning mindset. Because, you know, when you're young, there's no, it's pure. It's a little better because you don't have no background of accumulated anarthas. And it's also the Lord's mercy. But anyway, I just wanted to stop here and thank you. Any questions? Anybody have any comments? No question, no comment. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki.